It's good to say hello to everybody again. We're now in this lockdown for 4 months since mid March. We're now in mid July. Strange times. We want to keep in prayer, especially those who are unwell at this time at home, hospital, and care homes. So maybe we take a moment of quiet just to remember people known to us who are unwell at this time. To pray in thanksgiving for our health service, key workers, to give thanks to those who keep us informed by the newsletter through email and through the post, and those who work so hard to keep everybody in sync. Thank you. Bishop Peter has to sanction any church opening for private prayer or now public masses. As far as I can see, there are only 4 parishes in this diocese which he has sanctioned for private prayer. The nearest one to us is in Colwyn Bay. Nothing on the west coast. He is to issue a document or a report on opening churches for public masses. So in either case, there's all sorts of restrictions attached to this. Necessary for health and safety, of course. So, and he's got to come and sanction any church that wants to open for either private prayer or public masses. So there's all sorts of implications in this. The church got to be clean before and after any service, stewarding, signage, distancing. So whether we have people to do all of these things, everybody in that context is supposed to be under the age of 70 with no underlying health conditions. I don't know. I can't see that with all the steps to Amlwch and Menna Bridge, these churches can open either for private prayer or public mass at this time. Rossniger either probably is doubtful. That leaves 4 possibilities: Beaumaris, Bentley, Holyhead, and Llangefni. Whether we're going to have enough people to steward and clean these churches remains to be seen as well. So it's all a bit up in the air. So Bishop Peter will probably clarify this during the coming week, I'm sure, by the looks of things. 2 anniversaries coming up at this time. Father Dennis Marr, who died in Amlwch, I think it was 1981. I was at his funeral anyway because I was in Liverpool at the time. That's the first time I'd been ever in Amlwch Church. And he was based in Holyhead and was missioned to Amlwch when the Oblates took over that parish about the early 40s during the war, early part of the war. And as far as I can see, he spent the rest of his life there. That's something like 40 years in Amlwch. So he's well remembered and loved in that part of the world, and it's his anniversary. I think it's recently there in the last few weeks. Also, Blessed William Davis, his anniversary comes up on 27th of July, which is a weekend Monday. William Davis, his life story is probably well remembered across Anglesey, North Wales. He was originally from Colwyn Bay area, wanted to train as a priest. He wasn't a Jesuit, as a matter of interest. Some people think he was, but he wasn't. And they couldn't train in Britain. It was banned in Elizabethan times. So he trained out in Reims, I think, I'm sure it's in Belgium or France, and came back as a priest in North Wales, ministered mostly around the Llandudno area, and was taking students for the priesthood out to Spain via Dublin from Holyhead, and was arrested in Holyhead, prison at Beaumaris Castle, and in other prisons later as well for about a year, and was martyred in Beaumaris Castle in 1593, 27th of July. Church here in Beaumaris is named after him, of course, Queen of Martyrs. The Sunday Liturgy of the Word. I find it's fascinating these Sundays that It's all about chapter 13 of Matthew's Gospel. Some of you have been doing the course with Mary and Tolly on Matthew's Gospel. But there are 6 parables. I think it's 6 parables in that chapter, and it's about 60 verses in that chapter. 2 of them are very long. Both of them are explained by Jesus. The chapter begins with him sitting in a boat, and the guy goes out to sow corn in the field, and some of it falls on the side of the road, etc., 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 etc. And the one we have this Sunday, the guy who goes out to sow corn, and his enemy comes and sows weeds or darnel in it. Both of these are explained. There's lots of other parables in the Gospels that I find that could have done with some explanation that aren't given. Why these are, I don't know that. But that's where we're at. So there's a tendency to think that the guy who goes out to sell his corn and some falls in the wayside, etc., etc., that these are different kinds of people. They're not, they're all me. They all refer to myself. There's always parts of our lives which are in darkness and some of it in light. Blessed and broken is the terms I tend to use in these things about anybody's life, that there's parts of our life blessed and parts of our life broken. They're both loved by God as a matter of interest, but that's another story. So there you go, and I'm going to leave you now. There's a little prayer here I'm just going to take from this book on reflection on this Sunday. Lord, we thank you for those who educated or guided us from youth. They saw that we had bad traits as well as good ones. That darnel or weeds was mixed in with good wheat they sowed in us. There are people who wanted to weed out the darnel, but they said no, lest the wheat be pulled up also. If they did not mix, let us mix freely with others, we might no longer be open or generous. If we were not allowed to make mistakes, we would never take risks. If we did not feel free to ask foolish questions, we would never learn. We thank you for those who let wheat and darnel grow till harvest time. And now that we've gathered the wheat, we can let the darnel be burned. God bless you, everybody, and thank you, and see you again soon. Hopefully this week will bring more news. See you all. Stay safe. God bless. Bye.